Hey everyone, have you or someone you know ever been stranded somewhere from your car battery dying on you? I know I certainly have. Whether your battery died overnight or you're just helping someone else out, knowing how to jumpstart a vehicle is a basic life skill that can save you time, money, and stress. In this video, I'll walk you through exactly what tools you need, how to connect the jumper cables properly, and what exactly precautions you need to keep in mind so you can get back on the road with no issues or concerns. So let's get into it. So the first thing you'll need to do is ask someone to jumpstart the car for you. If you can't get a friend to do it, don't be afraid to ask a neighbor. It's not uncommon to ask people to jumpstart the car for you. So first you want to bring both cars together, making sure they're not touching. First thing you'll have to do is open the hood of your car. You also want to make sure to take the keys out of the ignition for both vehicles. So next we need to find the battery, and depending on the vehicle, battery can be in multiple places, but they usually tend to be on the side of the engine. So here's our battery right here. Next you want to find the battery leads. Here's my positive and here's the negative leads. Make sure you get your jumper cables and distinguish the positive and negative with the other positive and negative. So from this point forward, we don't want the jumper cables to touch each other. So now we're going to take our positive clamp and we're going to attach it to the positive part of the dead battery. So you can see the positive part of the clamp is on the positive part of the battery, and you want to make sure that the copper ends of the clamp is securely attached to the metal part of the battery. So the reason we attach the positive clamp to the positive part of the dead battery is because the dead battery doesn't have enough energy in it. So before we attach the negative to the negative, we're going to actually leave it here and go ahead and attach the other clamps to the good battery. Next, we're going to take the good battery from someone else's car and we're going to use it right here. Also, before attaching your clamps, make sure that the positive and negative aren't touching. Back at the dead battery, we have this last negative clamp, and it's the last clamp that we'll have to attach. But we don't want to attach it to the negative part of this battery. The reason being so is because if we attach it to the negative part of the battery, it'll cause a spark, which can then cause an explosion of hydrogen gas. So for safety reasons, we don't go ahead and immediately attach it. Some vehicles have a specific spot for your ground. In this case, you can find a bare piece of metal that's not part of the engine or a moving part that can work for a ground. So when looking for a ground, like I said, you want to look for something that's a bare piece of metal. We're not going to choose this because this is plastic. This is a radiator hose. And you want to also try and make sure that's not anything part of the engine or part of a moving part or anything like that. So we're going to look for a bare piece of metal. I'm going to go with this clamp that actually is the harness for our battery itself. It's a bare piece of metal. It's not attached to the engine or a moving part in any way. It's not part of the fuel tank. It's just fully just a bare piece of metal that's not attached to anything and would work perfectly for our battery. Next, you just want to make sure that the ends of our cable are not running into anything, not running into any of the cooling belts or the serpentine belt on the other side. Just want to make sure that nothing is getting in the way of the cables and that's going to run to the other vehicle perfectly. Now's the easy part. Just let the good battery do its thing and charge up the bad battery for about 5 minutes or more. Make sure to check that both clamps are securely attached and let it charge up. So now that the battery's up and running, you want to make sure to take off the negative clamp first and not touch anything. The reason we do this is because, like I said, if you took off the positive part first and the spark lights, it's right next to the battery, and the battery has hydrogen gas, creating a spark that could then create an explosion. So for safety reasons, we always take that ground off first. Then of course we take the positive part off, making sure not to touch these two together. Then repeating the process on the other vehicle. Now your car's started and you're no longer stranded. Now say your bad battery is really close to charging, you've put your key in the ignition, you've tried to start it, it's just not there, it just needs a little bit more juice. What you do is, you take the other car and you rev up the car to about 2 RPM and you just hold it there and charge it. What this does is it gets the alternator spinning to charge up to completion where you're able to finally ignite the car. So say you've done everything right. You've securely attached both vehicles and charged them for more than 5 minutes, maybe even possibly revving up your RPM just to make sure it gets that extra charge, but still your car's not starting. What could be going wrong is the internal shell of the battery could be corrupted, as well as the battery could also simply be out of juice. If you try to start the car and you hear that clicking sound, then it's probably time to get a new battery. But to save you the time and money, spending maybe upwards to $300 on a new battery, just make sure and double check that the clamps are once again securely attached to the positive and negative leads of your battery, just to save you that money and to know that, okay, I know for sure that my battery is definitely out of juice. And that's that. Your car should be up and running again. Just remember to let it run for a few minutes after the jump start to give the battery time to recharge. Always double check your connections, never touch the metal clamps together, and if your car still won't start, it might be time to replace the battery or call a professional. I hope this tutorial helped you out, and thank you so much for watching. Drive safe.